Hello. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I may be wearing the same sweater that I wore in my last video. Ew. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's clean. I just put it on over my gym clothes. I just came back from the gym. By the way, do you like my little layout here, my little setup? I wanted something fancy for YouTube, so I don't have many YouTube followers at this point, but I figure, you know what? I want to be able to start with some semblance of quality, so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully someday we'll move from beyond my corner here into something great. Speaking of my corner, did you watch Brandy's Cinderella? That used to be my favorite movie back in the day when I was a kid. I know it's not the correct name for it. It's the one that Whitney Houston produced. I think it was called like Hammerstein's Cinderella or whatever. And Brandy, who was Cinderella in the movie, she used to sing and she was like, "In my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be." And it's like every time I think of this little corner and I think of my little layout here, yeah, got a remote starter and all that for the video, doing it high tech. But every time I think of this little corner, that's what I think about. So I have my own little corner and I can just be whatever I want to be here. Yeah, and so for today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey with beyondblackwhite.com. Enjoy. So, I found out about beyondblackwhite.com back in 2010. Back then, I was just graduating from high school. I was born in 1992, so back then I would have been 17 going on 18. And I don't know, I was just open to different things, open to different opportunities. Back then, I was under some rules at home that basically I was not allowed to date until I was 18 and graduated from high school. And so around that time, I was getting to the place where I was starting to graduate from high school. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I could think about dating. I could think about relationships. I could think about love. And it's funny because now that part of my life is drier than the Sahara, okay? But that's a story for another day. We will talk about that. We will talk about that. But not right now. But basically I thought, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna look online about different things. I decided I was gonna look into, I joined every group I could think of on Facebook for relationships. I joined Black men and Black women, Asian men and Black women, white men and Black women, Arab men and Black women, Jewish men and Black women. I probably joined some others, Turkish men and Black women. Like, I joined brown men and Black women. I joined them all, and I was creeping and I was participating, and I just wanted to see how these groups were interacting with each other. And then when I went on YouTube, I realized, the interactions between Black men and Black women on YouTube wasn't the greatest. And so I kind of stopped doing searches on YouTube. I gotta say, back in the day, YouTube has only just started cleaning up their act, probably in like 2018, 2019, back when the advertisers started to really pull out from YouTube and say, look, you better clean up your platform. But before then, YouTube did not care. It was the wild, wild west. Okay, and so I would see a lot of videos on YouTube of Black men just trashing Black women. And I'm not going to say that all the critique was unjustified, but I felt that certain things should have been kept offline. Certain things didn't need to be said the way they were said. I'm just going to sit back because I just did back exercises on Pilates, and I'm sitting here making my back do all the heavy lifting. I could just sit in my chair, get all comfy. But yeah, I noticed that there were a lot of Black men on YouTube that were saying a lot of really horrible things about Black women on the platform, about how we were hair-hatted hooligans, how we were BT-1000s, how we were nappy-headed hoes, how we were worthless, how we were bastard baby makers, all this other really nasty stuff that I honestly did not hear in real life. That is not to say that I didn't see toxic behaviors in real life within the Black community and with Black love relationships, and not all. I'm a product of a very happy, successful Black love relationship, and I have seen good in the community, but if I had to compare the good versus the bad, that's a 20-80 split. And I said to myself, you know what, I'm not sure that Black love is necessarily for me. I'm not sure that's necessarily my life, my journey. So I figured, you know what, let me take the time, research, look into what else is out there, and see what I can find. And as I was looking for Black women dating Black men, I would find so many different blogs online. And then I found this website after I looked up Black women dating non-Black men. I found Beyond Black White. And I started reading, and I started reading and reading and reading and reading and reading. And then I found that I was going on the blog every day. And then I found that I was subscribing to the blog. I was liking the blog on Facebook. And I was consuming every single YouTube video I could. And I realized that, in case you hear anything in the background, I feel like I should mention, people around me are watching a movie. I'm not watching because they started without me. The shade is real. But in case you hear something, that's all that is. Yeah. So I started to consume all the content on the blog and read and comment and like people's comments and read what everybody had to say here, there, and everywhere. And I said, you know what? This is what I want to read about. This is the blog. This is a blog that I've been looking for. And I find it interesting. Like, now that I look back from 2020, I realize that a lot of the blogs, a lot of the platforms that I followed back in 2010, either I've been following them straight from 2010 until now, or I'm circling back to go back and follow these old platforms that I used to follow back in the day. And yeah, I just kept consuming the content, reading, watching, commenting, reading, watching, commenting, and just going on like that. And eventually it got to the point where I was a regular follower of the blog. Like, the blog editor, Crystal Curzon, she kind of knew who I was. And then by February 2017, if I remember correctly, she started her Pink Pill program, and I was one of the founding members. I paid for it. I participated in it. I would love to talk about that in another video, because I think that deserves its own story, in its own separate video. But that's kind of part of my journey to how I started writing for BeyondBlackWhite.com. So I joined the Pink Pill community. I went through the modules. I loved them. I went through the group. I loved it. And then after a while, the group got repackaged. So instead of it being a one-time fee and then you're in there forever and ever, amen, it started to be a monthly group, monthly fee. And the reason that was started was because it just helped to keep trolls out. You know, I found that there were people who, I don't want to go into old drama from the past and dig up old stuff, but I did find that, you know, there were leaks because there was a flat fee of, like, I think it was about like $200 original price that you could pay, get into the group, get access to everything, and then never have to pay anything again. So a lot of people could pay the affordable rate, and then I think it was also discounted at the time, and so people could pay the affordable rate, get into the group, and even the people who might not have the best intentions for the group could get in, get all the information they needed out of it, and then spread lies or misinformation online. And in order to stop trolling and in order to stop any kind of drama, it was decided that, you know what, this course was too valuable. It had so much content, it had so much material, it had so much value that, you know what, it really could have been more expensive. And even now, the price that it's at, I'm sure it could be more, but I'm so thankful for the pricing that she's giving it to at right now. I'm so thankful that there's so many people who can benefit from it. You know what? If I remember, I'm gonna drop my link, my affiliate link down below. Support a sister. Sign up for the pink pill. Yeah. So I found that even though I had been following Crystalline for years, even though I had been reading all of her content, watching all of her videos, I felt like the pink pill was even more of a deep dive into how I could level up and live the life that I wanted. So for me, that was really important, and I decided that I was going to continue and I was going to press on. In, I think it was about, I don't actually remember. It could have been 2018. Could have been 2018. I thought sometime in 2018, Crystalline put up a post asking for writers for the blog. And I commented on her post and I said, I would love to write for your blog, but I don't know what I would write about. And I would just rewind my life a little bit. So back when I first started reading her blog, as I told you, I was consuming everything. I was on the Facebook page, I was on the YouTube page, I was on the blog, I was consuming everything. And I remember saying to myself, even back in 2010, I said to myself, I said, wow, I would love to support this blog. I would love to write for this blog. I want to be a contributor here. I want in. I want what she has. I want, like, you know when you see somebody and you're like, wow, this person has an amazing life. I love it. I want it. Let's do this. Not in the sense of me necessarily being jealous or anything like that. It was just, it's more of an inspiration or more of like a mentor kind of thing, you know? And I loved it and I thought it was great. And I said, you know what? I really want to move forward with this. So I decided to keep on being more increasingly engaged. And when the opportunity came up in 2018 to write for the blog, I said, I don't know what I'm going to write. I have no idea. And she said, why don't you interview couples? So I interviewed one couple. That article took forever to come out, but it did. Then I wrote another article. That one took forever to come out, but it did. And it didn't take forever because of the blog. It took forever because of me and working with interviewees. I didn't have a steady flow of interviewees to talk to, and so it took a while to scope people who were interested in being interviewed, and then writing the article and then sending it to them and following up to get it approved by them, and then finally getting to submit it to the blog. And it took some time to grow. Nowadays it's so much easier because I have so many interviews on the blog now. It's so much easier to scope people to interview. And by the way, looking right at the camera here, where are we at? I'm talking to you. If you are interested in doing an interview with beyondblackwhite.com, if you're a black woman in an interracial relationship, or a non-black man who is dating a black woman, or if you are single and you fall in one of those categories I mentioned before, a non-black man or a black woman, and you're interested in swirling with the respective partners I just mentioned, comment section's right there. Hit me up. I would love to interview you. The queue on Beyond Black White is a little full right now, but your article will be written and it will be promoted on the site. So I had the opportunity to write interviews, and one day I decided that I was going to write an opinion piece and post it. Apologize if you hear any background noise. It's getting rather active out here. But yeah, I decided that I was going to write an opinion piece. I wrote it and I submitted it. And then after I took it down from the back end because I figured, oh, it's a little too personal, let me not write it. Let me put it on my own blog. It looks like one of the blog editors saw it and she liked it, and she said to me, hey, you should write opinion pieces instead of just writing interviews. And I thought, well, okay, sure. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been finding different articles, different news events, different articles, news events, pop culture happenings, anything I can think of that will really benefit Black women prospering, Black women thriving, leveling up, Black women in interracial relationships, anything like that. I really love the opportunity to write about it, and also to write about critical issues that impact Black women and how we can improve and how we can change and how we can develop ourselves for the better. So ideally, I would love to discuss that further. And if you have any topics that you'd like me to consider to write about, please let me know. And I will be on beyondblackwhite.com writing. So that's kind of a bit of my journey. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Back when the suggestion was first made to write for them, I was kind of between jobs and I didn't have a steady source of income, so having the opportunity to write for them has been a godsend. And even right now, as I work a full-time position now. Working with them has been pretty helpful. It's been pretty nice. It definitely helps keep things afloat. So I'm forever grateful to Crystalline, and I'm forever grateful to Penny, our anonymous writer, for welcoming me to the team. So I thought I would just mention a little bit of my journey, and I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and don't be afraid to like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll talk later. All the best.